Welcome guys. Today we're going to be talking about the most recent patch to the game. It came out last night and it's Dragon Bash. I can't believe it's been a whole year since this thing was implemented and we were running around collecting jawbreakers. Before I get into that though, I really want to offer a sincere apology for how few videos there have been over the past couple of weeks. I'm well aware of the issue and I'm not in a place at all that I want to be right now. You'll remember obviously earlier in the year I had all these grand plans and nice ideas, and 2020 has just not gone at all how I wanted. Disastrously, in fact. Usually when I'm in a position like this, I like to go away and make a ton of stuff, finish a bunch of projects off, and then I can roll out lots of videos to you guys and kind of make up for it, so to speak. But I don't even have that for you right now. So generally, I'm feeling miserable, and I can't say enough how sorry I am for that. On top of whatever might be going on with me personally, this is the first real patch of note since the Drizzlewood Coast came out. I know I still want to talk to you guys about that Dwarven lore from the patch prior. I have plenty of footage to go around, but things have been pretty quiet for Guild Wars 2. I pretty much expected that, especially on the Cantha front, which I expect they'll just be cooking away in the background. But it has meant that, really, I've been playing very little of the game at the moment. Expect more updates on the Super Q&A and Patreon. Everything slipped, and I feel terrible and like an abject failure. Before this video gets too pity party-ish, let's get on to the topic of note, which is the return of Dragon Bash, ArenaNet's newest festival. Now, this festival probably isn't most people's favourites. It's no SAB in which we get to wonder each year whether they'll expand with a World 3 or whatever, but they did do some nice quality of life that we can go through and describe. You'll remember that the main weapon set for Dragon Bash last year were the holographic versions of the precursors we already had. Well, those have been improved, so let's run through what the devs have to say while you run around and watch me get a taste of the festival in the background. It's time for Dragon Bash! It wouldn't be a proper celebration without your attendance, so join me in Holbrook for another Moot of the Ages. There'll be tests of strength, racing, food, song, and most importantly, ale. I'll see you there, unless of course you don't enjoy fun, says Newt Whitebear. So this is the festival that takes place in Holbrook, the nice snowy climbs of the Shiver Peak Mountains, cools you off in the height of summer. I think it's kind of a stand-in for what they did with Guild Wars 1, where you had Winter's Day in summer, and I have to say it is nice to get into a game that's cold and mountainy and chilly when you're in the middle of an IRL heatwave, which is exactly what's going on for me. So the main and returning features here are all the same as we saw last year. There's, first of all, the Dragon Arena, in which you get to face off against increasingly dangerous enemies in a section of Holbrook out near where you would play Keg Brawl. Now, this one's interesting because when it came out last year, with its public and its private kind of modes, you could see it as a bit of a precursor to strike missions and the way that they're formatted. I was wondering when the festival came back if it would become a full-blown strike mission as a part of the festival, but it doesn't really look like the devs did any of that. Maybe they felt it was unnecessary, and I can see why. The hologram stampedes return, which this patch note explains is in the Holbrook countryside. It's not really in Holbrook at all, it's just around the Shiver Peak Mountains maps, where you basically get a little bit of that Season 1 map zerging experience. Probably not my favourite part of the festival. The two adventures, first the Pinata Bashing, which I've always found really weird, but also the much more fun Dragon Bash Rally, which is the race exclusive to this festival. This race in particular I really like. If you guys never played it last year, you should give it a shot, especially if you have a roller beetle. Some of those turns and banks you can do are really, really well made. It's like the map was designed for it, an experience I often have while I'm on beetles. If you don't have a beetle, I guess it's going to be a lot more boring. And you know, as time goes forwards, the number of people that don't have beetles is only going to be going up. I remember thinking about this last year, and well, time's moving forwards, it's going to become more relevant. The patch where we actually got the beetle is falling away, and so I wonder what the proportion of players is like this year compared to last, and indeed what it will be like when we're well off into the Canthan years, right? That's going to be interesting. And then finally, the other returning feature is the Moa Race, Tig's Moa Race, where you actually kind of get to mount or inhabit, get a close-up camera view of a particular Moa that you bet on as it races around the map. Kind of a returning feature that we once upon a time saw in Lion's Arch before it was destroyed and rebuilt. So that's it for your features. Nothing new really to talk about except rewards. Standard fare for the way that they treat festivals. Let's look first of all at the weapon sets. Now, I only have a couple of these unlocked already for purchase based on my progression from last year, but you can see now that the holographic weapons can be tiered up into the imbued holographic set, which do look much more pretty. And it's weird now because it's like we've got the precursor weapons, the collection-oriented build-ups to the precursor weapons, the holographic precursor weapons, and now the imbued holographic precursor weapons as well, all for people to pick and choose from if they like. Now, if you know Guild Wars 2 festivals, you know that they tend to have a big reward for the festival that year, and then the next year it cycles in for a new one, and last year's becomes regularly purchasable. So the big meta reward this time is the holographic dragon shoulders. Last year it was the helmet. If you remember, the helmet was massive, and the idea of getting a full holographic dragon armor set in that style from playing enough Dragon Bash years is kind of an amazing thought to me, but these shoulders don't match the kind of size and amazingness that the helmet was before. They're much more subdued, which disappoints me a bit, but there they are. They did add a home instance node this year, the commemorative dragon pinata that you can access all year round. The new collection for getting invitations every time you log into a festival is also still ongoing. This is the penultimate one. If you, like me, have been routinely logging in every festival and collecting them, as of the next one, the Festival of the Four Winds, you will have the full set and you'll get the ultimate invitation thing. There's just one item you can double click. Yeah, I know, it's not the most exciting reward, but hey, the fact it's been building up this whole time means that I'm actually genuinely excited to finish the damn thing. And then lastly, there are new guild decorations, of which I think Spud's already crafted one. It's a giant ring on the ground, like a platform you can stand on with an awesome looking dragon face. The other stuff on the list doesn't read too exciting. A Dragon Bash banner, and then 2 posters. But you never know how good these things really are. Quite often with the festival decorations, they end up really big, and even a poster, if it's big enough, is enough to excite me for some new guild hall rewards. The patch notes do describe this section, you can see it on screen, of various fixes and tweaks. I won't go through them all, particularly I find that long, arduous detailing about how the coffer rewards have changed to be kind of uninteresting. But down below there are some nice changes. The Moa Racer was declaring incorrect winners, but that's been fixed. When you're in the arena, you used to be able to get knocked out of bounds. You know, it would tell you you are leaving the area, turn around, but you're in the middle of a CC, so you just get thrown out. Pretty frustrating, so there's some new barriers there. And this sounds ridiculous, but the new icons for the Scarlet Slaying Army, the Mordrum Slaying, the Branded Slaying, and the Hologram Slaying, basically all of those Season 1 icons, they've been updated, and they actually look really good now. This is such a weird thing to review, but I think they genuinely look really good. And now we can, of course, differentiate them at a glance with their own unique icons. There weren't really any significant world polish or alternate changes elsewhere in the game, except this one skill update to an ability you get during the Cold War Strike mission, and also a little bit in the personal story during No Quarter. Basically, just a slight update to the most recent patch, and nothing as far as POF or Heart of Thorns or any of the other releases are concerned. Black Lion had a bunch of updates also, which I'll gloss over as usual, but a couple of highlights being a new Skyscale skin. This was a patch that introduced a new Black Lion chest, and they actually updated the statuettes as well. So if you're still on your quest to get every single unlock, as I was, many of these things will probably be useful to you. I'm pretty sure I have them all, unfortunately, so not that exciting, but they have it. That's the patch in general, guys. Again, I'm sorry that there's not been much going on, and most of the projects I'm really interested about for this year have stalled. If you played Dragon Bash last year with Guild Wars 2, I doubt there's that much exciting about this video, but I did really want to make it, if anything, just to touch base with you all, let you know things will be continuing as normal. None of my big plans have changed, more to follow, and basically that I'm sorry. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you next time.